Thank you. Thank you. My mic was muted. So the problem actually is not in my internet connection, but it's in my live streaming software. And I really have to look into this because this happens every darn week, which is so frustrating. Can you hear me now? I think you should hear me now. At least the microphone should be on. Just let me know if you can hear me in the chat so that I can continue. Is the volume okay? Yeah, I'm back live now. Okay, cool. All right, good. Sorry, guys. Yeah. All right. So I'm having some huge technical difficulties with my. It's actually not my internet connection because that was fine. It's yeah. I went offline because my live streaming software basically quit working for a while. So YouTube basically breaks down, cuts the feed really quickly if my software doesn't work. So that sucks because we actually had quite a lot of people online, and now we lost most of the people, which sucks really bad. Yeah, we're on now. All right. Anyhow, the question from Kavishka Joachim was, is Mikkeli a good place to live as an international student, and is the cost of living low? So what I was about to say is that Mikkeli has one of the so Aalto University has two different campuses. One is in the Helsinki metropolitan region, and then the second is in Mikkeli, which is a bit more it's a bit further away from Helsinki. And the Mikkeli campus specifically has the degrees for international business at Aalto University. And the Mikkeli, since it's quite a bit far away from Helsinki, it's a lot cheaper compared to Helsinki in terms of living costs. And as a student city, it's actually a really fun city to live in as a student because they have multiple universities there. So that's actually really cool. In addition, because that's the campus specifically for the Aalto University degree in international business, they have a very nice community of students there, which is really nice. So I would say that the Mikkeli campus is actually a really cool place to be in when you're studying. To be honest, quite a lot of people after they graduate from the Mikkeli campus, they move to Helsinki because we have more job opportunities in Helsinki. Also, a lot of people do their summer jobs in Helsinki. So what they basically do is that they sublet their apartment in Mikkeli for the summer, and then they come to Helsinki to work, and then they go back to Mikkeli after the summer jobs are done. Everyone who joined just a second ago, sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties with my live streaming software. So the stream was cut off completely. So unfortunately, you guys were kicked out. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully you can hear me now. Anyhow, let's move on with the questions. The next one comes from Architect Strange, and the question is, it might be funny to ask, but still, I'm from a place where it's 45 degrees Celsius. Can I survive the cold in Finland? Yeah, you will. Actually, a lot of people for example, from China and from Central and Southern Europe come to Finland for their holidays nowadays because it's not cold, but it's mild. So for example, in the summer nowadays, you can easily have like 30 degrees Celsius in Germany. However, we almost never come up that high in Finland. Rather, we have like a very nice, during the summer, it's like nice 20 degrees, 15 degrees Celsius. However, in the winter, it can get really cold depending on where you live. In Lapland, it can easily, or way up north, it can easily go to minus 30 degrees. However, unless you study in Oulu, that's not going to be your problem. In Helsinki, actually, the winters are nowadays really mild. The temperatures can go from anywhere can go anywhere from like plus 2 degrees to minus 25. It fluctuates quite a bit, which is unfortunate because 10 years ago in Helsinki we had plenty of snow and minus 20, which is really lovely. So you're gonna do fine. You just have to mind the way how you're dressing up during the winter. Next question comes from Khalil, from Algeria again, and the question is, how will we come to Finland after getting admission and paid tuition fees? Oh, right. So the Finnish embassies in their country, in Algeria, is closed currently. So the question is, how are you able to come or get to Finland? So yeah, this is a problem that you're not the only one who's having this problem right now. So Finnish embassies in a huge amount of countries are closed right now, and this is why the residence permit processes can take a very long time, because they're not able to process your personal information. Because in order to get a residence permit to Finland as a non-European Union student, you need to visit a Finnish embassy to identify yourself. And if you're not able to do that, you will not get a residence permit. So quite a lot of people are stuck with their residence permit processes at this time, unfortunately. Next question comes from Aaron, and the question is, this is kind of off topic, but what's it's kind of off topic, but what's the Finnish government's stand on immigration, and what does the people think? So that's a good question, and it's in 2 parts, so let me break this down. In Finland, we have a massive shortage of talented, highly educated professionals. The birth rate in Finland has been going down quite a bit during the last few years, and it's going down even now, meaning that at some point we are going to have a bit of a crisis because we don't have enough people to pay taxes, and we don't have enough professionals. In addition, there are a lot of fields that have a huge demand for new professionals, talented workers, for example, in the healthcare industry or sector, as well as, for example, in software development or computer sciences. There's a massive demand for people. A year ago, so this is over a year ago, it was reported that Finnish companies have an immediate need for 10,000 software developers, and that need is growing by the thousands every single year. So it's pretty bad. So in terms of professional immigration, the country is very, very open, because we need you guys to come here, and this is one of the reasons why this channel also exists. Some people do think that not all Finns are that welcoming. This is because during the last 4 or 5 years, we've had a couple of bad experiences where especially asylum seekers have not followed the local laws, and there have been some very publicly or very heavily publicized cases of criminal activity that some immigrants have done. So that's why there might be a bad rap for some immigrants, especially asylum seekers. However, if you move into Finland as a professional, or if you move here as a student trying to get a degree and try to contribute into the society, you will be most welcome to the country. So plus, it is a bit of a general rule that the young people, like millennials in Finland, are of course more international than the older generations, especially our grandparents. So they are even more welcoming. All of my friends are very international. A lot of them have moved out of Finland for a while to work. I know a bunch of international people, and I love to get to know even more. So I'm super open for you guys coming here. Or I would love you guys to come here to work and study and work. Guys, I'm actually starting to run out of questions in the Google form, so if you have any questions that you would like me to answer, please let me know. I'm able to answer your questions for around 30 minutes, and then I have to leave. So if you have anything that you want to ask, just post them in the Google form as before in the description box below. Anyways, the next question comes from Architect Strange, and the question is, you said that right, I get it. I would request you to upload a video on what to bring with an international student while he or she is traveling into Finland. Or is it cheap / cheaper to buy winter clothes in Finland? Sure, so that's a good question. Yeah, I've been planning on doing this kind of what to pack with you when you come to Finland, but I just haven't been able to do it because that depends quite a bit on the time of year when you move here. So I would say that if you move here in late autumn, meaning October, November, or in the winter, meaning December until April, then you should prepare with some warm clothing before you come here, because you will freeze yourself off just when you travel from the airport to your apartment. However, I would say that you should not stress about it. You can buy all the necessary winter clothes here, and they're most likely even of higher quality if you just buy them here. It's not going to be cheap, but it's just better to do it here. All right, guys, I'm out of questions. So if you have any questions or comments or anything, just let me know, and I'd love to keep having this chat open. If not, I think Aaron asking, does Finland have any vehicle companies, especially cars? So do you mean like rental companies? Yes or no, or what do you mean with vehicle companies? Cannot speak. Need to get something a bit stronger. Right. Yeah. So do you mean like a rental car rental company? I don't know. What did you mean? Not sure. All right. Cool. By the way, guys, actually something that would be really cool for you to do. I actually got a new channel sponsor this week called Meet Frank. And if you saw my previous video that I just uploaded today, you should know what Meet Frank is. But basically, Meet Frank is a mobile app and the only and best recruitment app in Finland. And it's really cool. It's completely free to use. And why I really love this Meet Frank app is that since it's super difficult to find information on, for example, average salaries in Finland over the web, because there's so much misinformation. The Meet Frank app Meet Frank is the only recruitment company in Finland that is actually sharing information on how much companies are willing to pay you specifically based on your experience, expertise, and field. And when you, for example, use the app, you can actually, before you apply for a job, you can actually see how much more or less that company is willing to pay you compared to your previous salary. So it would be awesome if you guys wanted to go ahead and download the app and try it out. Again, it's completely free to use. You don't need a login. It does not require you to input any personal information. So it's really easy to try out. And I have the link in the chat as well as in the description box below, I think. Yeah, so if you want to try out the Meet Frank app, that would also help the channel out, because that tells them that you actually are getting value out of the app, and then I might be able to continue this collaboration with them. And these sponsorships all, of course, help me make you guys consistent content, and the more sponsors I'm able to get, the more content I'm able to provide you guys. So I would really appreciate it if you downloaded the app and tried it out. All right, we have a question from Arthur. Awesome. So the question is, Oliver, after I finish my bachelor's degree, is it possible to continue living in a HOAS apartment for a short period, supposing that I don't start my master's and start a supposing that I don't start my master's right away, but rather I start working full time? And considering that should I apply for a shared apartment? And considering that I should apply for a shared apartment, can I choose the number of people I will share the apartment with? Okay, good. Those are really good questions. I will go through them one by one. So the question about, is it possible to continue living with HOAS after graduating as bachelors if you don't continue to masters directly? In general, no. I think the time period is like a couple of months until you have to move out. There's a small grace period during which you are able to actually look for a new apartment. I don't remember the exact time period. I'm not sure if HOAS actually has that information public on the website. Might have. But if you stop studying, meaning that you're not registered as an active student at the university, that is when HOAS is going to basically cut your or cancel your agreement. So if you want to live at HOAS, you have to have an active, you have to be an active student at a university. And considering that I should apply for a shared apartment, can I choose the number of people I will share the apartment with? So HOAS used to have this roomie apartment system. I don't remember if they have it anymore. So the idea with the roomie apartment was that it was a shared apartment. However, with those roomie apartments, you could actually apply to that shared apartment with a friend of yours. So you could actually then impact on how many people you live with and who you live with. However, I think they actually removed that apartment type entirely. I'm not sure. You have to check it out. However, with normal shared apartments, you are not able to impact the number of people otherwise than when you apply for an apartment. You apply for a specific apartment, and then, of course, since HOAS has good information on each apartment, you will know how many rooms they have. So that will tell you how many people you will have, how many roommates you will have. However, you will not be able to impact your roommates. So those will be assigned to you by HOAS or by any other apartment provider. The only exception is that in Finland we have gender apartments, so that we only have guys or girls, basically, or guys or gals. So I hope that answered your question. Next question comes from Architect Strange. By the way, thank you guys for the constant questions. I actually really appreciate it because you guys keep these streams going on. And the question is, can I get a driving license in Finland as an international student, or should I have to use only public transportation until I get my permanent residence permit? So getting a driver's license in Finland does not have anything to do with your residence permit. You can actually apply to you can actually go to driver's license or driving school when you move to Finland. Just a second, I will pull out some information for you. All right, I will have a link for you in the chat. So you can get a driver's license in Finland, as I mentioned. It doesn't matter what your residence permit is. If you have a driver's license in your own country, you do not need to apply for one in Finland. You can use your driver's license from that country already. That's according to international agreements. However, do note that if you want to do a driver's license in Finland, you have to live in Finland at least for 6 months before you can apply to the school. And then the driver's license process, the school itself, takes some time. I don't remember how long it takes because I got my driver's license 20 years ago? No, I'm sorry. What? 10 years ago. My math. over 10 years ago, and the system was completely different then, and so the driver's license school is a bit different nowadays. Anyhow, good question. Then we have a question in the chat from Arjun. After finishing a master's, what are the best possible opportunities and roads for getting a permanent residence permit? Good question. After you finish your master's, you need to get a job. That's the best way of getting a residence permit. The exact requirements for a residence permit vary, and they are all the residence permit applications are processed on a individual basis. And I've tried to make a video about this, but because the information on the website of the Finnish Immigration Service is so confusing, and it's very, it's not specific. It's very unspecific. So I don't want to make a video out of this, because that would basically just be spreading false information. So, however, when you apply, after you graduate from a school in Finland, the best way to get a permanent residence permit is to get a full-time job. Period. That is simple. Scarlett asking, could you give us some advice on learning Finnish? Maybe some online courses available or their prices? Sure. Yeah, of course. My recommendation is that you start with free tools. I have a video about free online tools to learn Finnish. And if you feel like, after using those for a while, and if you feel like you really want to study Finnish and want to learn the language, then I can, after that, I can recommend a couple of paid courses. I actually have a video coming up about this where I have actually list out different paid courses that you could take, but it will take me a bit of time to get it online. But check out Scarlett specifically, check out the video that I posted in the chat. Check out that video, use those resources first, and then maybe progress to paid courses. What I recommend, my recommendation is that always, when you come to study in Finland, take as many Finnish language courses at the university as possible, because A, it is free of charge when you're a student. Second, those language courses are calculated towards your degree, so you get actually study credits for them. And three, the Finnish universities naturally have the best Finnish language teachers in the entire world, so you get the highest quality education. So it's pretty obvious that you should do it. Vishal asking, what is the average class size in master's programs? Impossible to say. This depends on the school as well as the program, as well as the classes or the courses. So it's impossible for me to give you any kind of an answer to that. They are pretty small, or they're not hundreds of people. That's the only thing that I can say. Sanjana saying, hope you're keeping well. Thank you, I am. I've stayed safe. All of my relatives and good friends have also stayed safe and healthy. Hope you are as well, especially during these times. Thanks a ton for all of your videos. They're super helpful. I'm very glad to hear that these videos and live streams are actually helping you guys. If they weren't, there wouldn't be any point of actually making them. So I'm really glad. And Joken Studios asking, how is the film industry in Finland? Is it easy to blend as well as infuse your craft easily? Is there any cheaper housing authority in Kouvola? The housing in Kouvola, I don't remember out of the top of my head, but if you mean like student housing, Kouvola should also have student apartments. So all major university cities in Finland have student apartments. However, if you are looking like a private sector apartment provider, no. Most of the private sector apartments are rented by private individuals. So no, there's nothing there. About the film industry, I don't want to comment here because I don't have personal experience. I heard rumors, but so I don't want to really comment because I have no experience. So. It's better that I'm quiet. Arjun asking, what will be the tax cuts if I get a full-time and part-time jobs? I don't understand the question. You will have no tax cuts if you get a job in Finland. Finland has a progressive tax system, so the more money you make, the more you pay in taxes. I will make a video about this in the future, but since it's such a complicated topic, it will take me quite a long time. So it's most likely later in the year. But yeah, there's no tax cuts per se. It's simply that if you work part-time, you get less money, meaning you pay less taxes. If you work full-time with a high salary, you pay way more in taxes. Also, good to know, some people have been asking me, is it possible to work in Finland part-time with cash payments, so that basically under the table? No, the answer is absolutely not. If you do that and you're caught, you will get into a lot of trouble. In Finland, by law, you need to have a work contract signed by both parties. And when you have a contract signed, there's paper trail. So if a company is caught paying you under the table, they will get extremely high fines and they could actually get into a lot of trouble. So do not even consider asking a company, any company, restaurant or anything about working under the table. Absolutely not. Also, my personal opinion is that if you come to Finland to study, and then afterwards you want to be a member of the society, you need to pay your taxes, period. We all pay our taxes, we all contribute into the society, we have excellent public services that are paid with the taxes, and people who avoid taxes by working under the table, I don't respect those kind of people, because they are basically taking away from the society. So then there's a question, I have another question, why Finland? How does that differ from other countries? What are the highlights, unique aspects that actually make Finland more attractive for students compared to other countries? Well, that's a super wide question. It's impossible for me to answer that here. There's hundreds of different countries, so it's impossible to say. But if I need to highlight some things, is that Finland is statistically speaking the safest country in the world. We have the highest trusted police organization. Finland is an extremely clean country. We have an extremely well working public sector, meaning healthcare, transportation, postal system, all the bureaucratic stuff. All of that works really well. For example, the COVID situation currently has shown how well our healthcare system works compared to many other, even European countries. The career prospects in Finland as a university graduate are in general really good, and especially if you come from, say, India or from the Pacific area or Asia in general, or South America. In some countries, you will have extremely good career prospects here compared to many of the opportunities that you will have in your country. I actually have a video coming about this topic in a while, but I really need to figure out what are the top reasons why you should move here. There are, of course, a couple of downsides. One of them is that Finland is an expensive country to live in, not only because of the taxes, but because everything else is expensive as well compared to others. However, again, for our tax money, we actually get quite a lot of really good services, like free healthcare, free school system. We get maternity and paternity leave, really long ones. What else? The nature is beautiful, etc. So there is a bunch of different reasons. I would just highly, especially considering the turmoil that the entire world is in currently. I think this year has highlighted how good we have it here in Finland, because everything has worked really well compared to so many other countries. Then I will jump into the form in just a second. We have a couple of more questions in the chat. Sanjana asking, do you have any advice for someone who is looking to apply to Aalto University as an international student? No, that is such a wide question that I cannot give you a general recommendation. I would need to know way more about you. What I recommend, guys, actually, if you are not yet members in our Discord server, where the idea is to build a community of people interested in studying and working in Finland, join the server, because that is a place where I answer a lot of questions from people. And then if some questions become more frequent, I will make separate videos about them. For example, I could answer your questions about Aalto University in the Discord server because it's a bit easier for me to do it there. All right, I will get back into the chat in just a second. I will first answer the questions that we have in the Google form. So next question is from Architect Strange. The question is there any research intern positions in art and design school at Aalto? If there are, how to apply? No idea. I don't know. What I recommend you to do is to go to Aalto University jobs. Let's see. Moment. All right, here I will link you a Architect Strange. I will link you I will give you a link in the chat to the open positions page that is specifically for Aalto University. If they have any internships or for example PhD positions, you will find them there. So go ahead and check that out. In general, they usually have internship and trainee positions, which are usually well paid. The question, do they have specifically for the Faculty of Art and Design at this moment? I don't know. You have to check it out. Excuse me. Next question comes from Arthur. And the question is, do I need to pay taxes as a university student? Yes, you do. If you the second that you move to Finland, and you start working, you need to start paying taxes. Period. However, if you work as a as a student and you work as part-time, the taxes are not that high, to be honest. However, yes, you are liable to pay taxes if you work in Finland, and you specifically need to pay taxes in Finland to Finland. I actually called the Finnish tax administration today to ask about this, and they gave me detailed instructions about it. And I will actually cover this topic in a future video. But the general answer is yes, you need to pay taxes in Finland, even as a student. One more question from Architect Strange. How big of a percentage of students get a tuition fee waiver or scholarship as that is either part or full? All right, so what percentage of students do get a scholarship? I don't know. It's a small percentage. The reason why I don't know is that this is not public information. Universities in Finland are not obliged to publicize this information, so they do not give out the numbers on how many scholarships there are. So it's impossible to say. My tip for anyone who asks me about this is that simply, when you know that you're going to apply to study in Finland, start working right away. If you're still in high school, you need to do well with your high school degree, and then you need to study for example, your SATs or Toefls or IELTS language tests. Study really hard, harder than you've ever studied before, and you will do fine. Only the best applicants that are admitted to study in Finland get scholarships, meaning that you have to do really well. The same goes if you're applying to do a master's and you're still finishing up your bachelor's. Focus on your degrees. Try to get as high degrees from your courses as possible. Try to get recommendations from your professors. Really focus on your motivation letter and other potential exams that you have to do, and then just hope that you get a scholarship. But the number of them is not public information. All right, let's jump back into the chat. Where were we? All right, I was answering the question from Sanjana. Do you need a work permit to work part-time while you are studying? Sanjana, I really recommend, if you are still here, Sanjana, please go ahead, after this live stream ends, go into my channel and binge watch all of my previous videos, because I have answered most of your questions in my previous videos. However, I do already have quite a lot of content there. So, for example, your question about work in Finland as a student has been answered in this video that I'm going to link into the chat. So, watch this. If you are a student in Finland and you are a European Union or a European Economic Area citizen, you are allowed to work in Finland as a student without any restrictions. So you can work full-time, part-time, as much as you want, as long as your school doesn't suffer. However, if you are not from the European Union or European Economic Area, you can work for 25 hours per week on average per term, if that work is not related to your studies. Let me explain. So if you get a job that is directly related to your studies and your degree, you can work without any restrictions full-time. However, this has to be directly applied to your degree. If you find a job that is not related to your degree, you can work for 25 hours per week on average, and the average hours are calculated not based on each week, but based on each semester. So we have 2 semesters, autumn and spring. So, for example, in the autumn term, you can work for 25 hours on average during the entirety of the semester. So, for example, 1 week you can work for 35 hours, and then next week 15 hours, maybe, or 20, 20, 20, and then you just work a little less at one point, and the hours are checked after each semester. The exception here is that you can work full-time during Christmas holidays and summer holidays. Christmas holidays are usually around 3 weeks, so they start around a week before Christmas and they continue all the way to New Year's. So during Christmas holidays you can work full-time without any restrictions, even if you are not from the EU. Second is the summer holidays, which start usually in the first week of June and they end when the next academic year starts, which is normally either late August, like the last week of August, or the first week of September. So during summer you can work for 12 weeks on average without any restrictions. All of this is explained in the video, so go ahead and check that out as well. Scarlett saying thanks, you're welcome. Glad to do this. Arjun asking, in some countries, international students need to have a unique identity number with which the government keep track of working hours. Do Finland have any such rules? So I'm not sure if that's a good question. I'm not sure how the working hours are tracked. However, I know that they are tracked because when you have a work contract, that your salary is directly your employer is the one who pays your salary and they pay the taxes. So they pay the taxes directly from your salary, and all of this information goes directly to the Finnish tax administration and the rest of the kind of the governmental agencies that need that information, meaning that it is automatically tracked. So of course you have to keep a log of your working hours. However, the point here is that you're not able to cheat the system because it is automatically tracked by the different government agencies that deal with this stuff. You will get a personal identity code when you move to Finland after you have registered your residence or after you get your residence permit. I've also explained this in a couple of previous videos, multiple ones. For example, the one where I speak about things that you need to do right after moving to Finland. So I'm pretty sure that it's your working hours as well as all of your personal other personal things. They're tracked with your personal identity code, which you get when you get your residence permit. Then we have a question from Vishal. Are there any application fees for Masters? Do we have to send official Toefl scores to university, or can we upload soft copies of Toefl scores? No, there are no application fees for any university programs in Finland. The application itself is completely free, but when you apply for a residence permit after you have been admitted to school, that costs, I think, 350 euros when you do it electronically. I might be a bit off, but I think that it was 350. About the Toefl scores or other language exam scores, or for example SATs, the information on whether you need to send the official original papers, physical copies, or maybe for example electronic copies to the university depends on the school. So make sure when you apply, follow the instructions exactly as they have been laid out, because this depends on the school. However, normally, yes, you have to send official scores. And usually, a lot of the times, you also have to send actually the original physical papers or copies of them, certified copies. Sanjana saying, you said career prospects are better. Does that include like the design art sector? If you mean like in Helsinki area, yeah, in general, just the capital region always has more jobs. So, you have better career prospects in Helsinki just in general. If you mean Aalto University or the Aalto University graduates, that also is yes, considering all Aalto University graduates, because Aalto again is the #1 ranking university in Finland. So if you graduate from Aalto, it's pretty likely that you get a job. Also, Arjun asking, recently most of the international media is broadcasting about the second wave spike in European Union countries. How is the current situation with COVID in Finland? It's not good. We have a pretty big second wave spike going on right now. Actually, the government just today imposed more restrictions or new restrictions. I haven't seen them, what they are. We actually opened the country quite a bit after July, I think, because we were doing really well. The one thing that happened was that we got COVID in control in our country, but then we opened up the country for travel, and then we actually got a new spike of cases from people traveling to Finland and Finnish people traveling to somewhere and then coming back, and now it's again spiking up quite a bit. However, again, compared to, for example, many European countries like say Germany or France, where and for example the UK, where a lot of people are actually demonstrating because of the restrictions. There's nothing like that in Finland, because Finnish people are basically pretty used to following commonly agreed rules, and we have done pretty well in the case of COVID. The second benefit that we have compared to many other Western countries, especially Asian countries, even many other European countries, is that we have a very robust public healthcare system that is doing really well with the second wave. And even though the number of cases is pretty high and growing all the time, they're still doing really, really well. So it's not good, but it's not catastrophical. Personally, for me, my personal life has not been impacted that much, because I don't go out in bars or clubs at all now, especially nowadays. So those are mostly restricted, because a lot of restaurants and bars have to close their doors pretty early in the evening. Just a moment. Then I will jump back into the form, because we have a question there. from Abdimanyu. Awesome to have you here, by the way. Cool to have you here as well. And the question is, do universities in Finland give very much importance to grades and marks, more than practical knowledge? Or don't, or do they give more attention to creativity of students and depth of particular field which he is studying? That's a very difficult question, and it's impossible to say that for sure. Yeah, it's impossible for me to say. My kind of general gist is that no, actually, I will not say anything because it's impossible to say. Depends on the university, depends on the program, depends on the degree and the major that you apply to. So hard to say. What I can say is that employers in Finland do not put as much emphasis on grades as, for example, say in the UK or in the States. However, that's a very difficult question to answer. Sorry for not being able to help anymore. All right, guys, I will take a couple of more questions, then I will end the stream for today because I have to go to sauna to relax because it's been a long day. I've been up since 4:30 a.m. Feti, that's actually a good comment, feedback. So saying that could I make the Google form a bit more flexible so that you don't have to every time fill out your details? Yeah, that's a good feedback. I will definitely take that into. I will definitely note that. The thing is that it's good for me to know who is posing the questions every time, and if there's a lot of questions from the same people, then I'm not able to identify those people when they bring or ask multiple questions. And because most of the questions that you guys ask are specifically dependent on you as a person, where you're from, especially considering like tuition fees, because if you come from the EU, that's completely different compared to if you come from outside of the European Union, as well as most of the answers depend on your school, the city that you live in, as well as the degree that you're applying to. So that's why I really need to know who you are every single time you pose a question, because that just helps me answer them in more detail. Let's see. Arjun saying the same thing. Google form is frustrating. Every time I need to ask a question, I need to fill the same question again and again. Yeah, I'll try to make it a bit easier. But again, as I mentioned just a second ago, I need to know who the person is asking the question, because my answers will depend on your background information, and it is if I don't have your details in every single question, it is impossible for me to see who is asking that question live, because of the way that Google form gives me your questions in Excel. So yeah, it's frustrating, but I'll try to look into it. All right, what else we have? Arjun saying, as you're referring to working in same field of study area, does it mean we can work full-time, and will companies in Finland support international students in providing part-time or full-time work? No, companies will not definitely support students by giving them part-time or full-time work. So basically you have to know what you're doing for them to recruit you. So you have to be valuable employees for companies to actually hire you. So no companies will hire you from the goodness of their heart. Again, finding a job as a early stage student, especially if you study a bachelor's degree and you don't have prior work experience, it is going to be hard in Finland. This is not only for international students, but for Finnish students as well. So, and I was referring to working in the same field in terms of the working restrictions. So if you find a job that is specifically a part of your degree, then you can work full-time. However, if you find a job that is not specifically a part of your degree, then you can only work for 25 hours a week. Yeah, there's a discussion going on about the applications. So yeah, the applications for next year start in the beginning of December, and most of the applications for English taught degrees end before the mid-January. So make sure that you are on time. Vishal asking, what part of our application carries high weightage for getting admission apart from GPA grades? Impossible to say. I don't have any personal experience in grading applications, so I cannot comment on that. There's multiple different things that you need to have in your application, like your CV, your motivation letter, your GMATs or SATs or TOEFLs or IELTS tests. All of them carry weight. If you apply for Maste'rs, you also have to have good grades from your previous degree. Also, if when you apply for a Master's, the courses that you have done in your previous degree and how relevant they are for your Master's that you're applying to, that has weight as well. However, how much weight each of these have, it's impossible for me to say. If you're interested in learning more about this, I recommend that you contact the admission services of the university that you're interested in, because they have better knowledge about this than me. Scarlett, one more question. I have been looking for MBAs in Finland. Do you have any programs in mind or universities I should look at? Or what are the main requirements you think they would ask for? Yeah, that's a good question. So super quickly, Scarlett, please let me know in the chat, because I don't remember anymore. Do you have a bachelor's degree in business already? And if yes, how many years of work experience do you have prior? Because my answer will depend on this. Because MBAs in Finland are a bit different. Oscar saying that I'm an Aalto student and so far life has been really stressful and boring, partly due to the pandemic. Thinking about quitting. That's a really big. That's a shame to hear. Because yeah, the current situation is really shitty, but it's the same for everyone. All the student events, parties, everything is cancelled for now, which is really unfortunate. And everyone is carrying the same weight and feeling the pain. And I'm really feeling sorry for everyone who has to go through this. However, there is nothing that we can do at this point. I really recommend that you just push through and try to get your school forward, because it's going to pay for itself if you actually are able to graduate. So I'm feeling you, man. The situation is really shitty at the moment, but there's nothing what we can do. Right. So Scarlett, okay, I studied corporate communication and you have about 2 years of experience. So in that case, I do not recommend that you take an MBA. MBAs in Finland are not considered as a degree per se. They are considered as an additional. Usually MBAs in Finland are only done by people who have a bachelor's degree and they need a master's level degree in order to move forwards in their career. So it's considered more as an additional degree in a sense. What I recommend you do is you should apply for a master's in business or economics. Because that's what we usually do in Finland. So we do MSCs, Masters in Science, in Economics and in Business. It's extremely rare to do a MBA, and most of the people that I know who have done MBAs they have done a bachelor's degree at a University of Applied Sciences, because you can only do a bachelor's there, and then they have like 10 years of work experience, and then they basically hit a wall because the company is not able to give them a promotion unless they have a master's level degree as well. And then they do an MBA, which is much more practical compared to a university degree or master's degree. Most of the times those companies pay those MBAs for them so that they can actually get a promotion. So what I recommend you to do is to do a master's degree, MSc, in economics or in business. Yeah, the same thing goes. You're interested in MBAs in communication or digital media field. I don't even think that you have an MBA in communication. You need to do a master's in business. And then inside that degree, you need to major in communication and communication. And then you have digital media courses and different courses that you can take in different kind of digital communicational systems. However, don't do it. Don't Google MBA Finland, because you will get wrong information. Go and, for example, check out Aalto University, Maste'rs in Business, and then go to the major of communication, and from there start looking at the information. That's much more relevant for you. I don't think MBA is a good choice for you. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right. I'll take two more questions from the forum, and then I have to leave because I have to hurry to the sauna. Arthur asking about the situation of COVID. I believe things are way better in Finland rather than in Brazil. The situation here is quite out of control. There are over 5 million cases now. Yeah, I've heard that Brazil is completely out of control, and I actually have a good friend of mine who is half Brazilian, and he was planning on moving back to São Paulo this year, but he is actually not able to move there because there's so many cases there. He's much safer here. So yeah, the situation with COVID in Finland is in control. It's not good, but it's in control. Then question from Architect Strange. Comment, thank you so much, buddy. You've been so calm and answered all my questions. Thank you so much. I really keep it up. I will get in touch in Discord. Bye, buddy. Thanks, dude, for the positive feedback. I love doing this. I love the fact that you guys have been asking all the questions this evening, and thanks for keeping up, staying here even with the technical difficulties. Question comes from Toefl. Awesome to have you here again. I'm just about to end the stream, but I will answer your question. Hi, Oliver. Thanks for the live stream. Aside from the scholarships offered by universities, do you know if there are any other ways or NGOs where students can apply for scholarships? As a general rule of thumb, bachelor's and master's level students in Finland do not have any other good options for scholarships except for the university scholarships. Most of these scholarships and grants outside of that system are for PhD and postdoc students only. Sorry, I cannot go in any more into details because I have to go, but that is the general idea. Last question comes from Kavishka, and the question is, what do you think about job opportunities related to economics and international business? Is it hard to find? No. If you want to select a school, a degree, and a program specifically based on the career prospects, there's two really good options: business and computer sciences. For example, at Aalto University, 86% out of all the student graduates have a job even before they graduate. We have extremely high employment numbers for business students in Finland. The same goes with computer scientists. They have even better numbers because there's such a high demand for skilled computer scientists in Finland. So absolutely yes, good. You will have absolutely really good career prospects and job opportunities in Finland as a master's graduate in economics and international business. There. Anyhow, guys, I really have to go. I have to hurry so that I don't miss my sauna reservation. It was awesome to have all of you here today. There's a huge amount of different links to videos that I talked about during the stream. So go ahead and check out those videos after I end this so that you can get even more information on these topics. In addition, I also have, I will one more time, I will link the Discord server that I made a while ago, where we talk about studying and working in Finland. And I would love you guys to join the Discord channel if you're not members already. And also, please consider downloading the Meet Frank recruitment app that is linked in the description box below. It is completely free to use. It is the only and best recruitment app working in Finland, both for iOS and Android, as well as in addition to job opportunities, you actually get a lot of salary information from the app and their website. And they're the only recruitment company in Finland that are actually giving out public salary information on how much companies are actually willing to pay you with your background and education. So consider downloading it because Meet Frank is one of the sponsors of the channel. And if you download the app, that will help me out with these sponsorships. And that also means that I will be able to make more of these live streams and consistent content for you guys. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out today. Have a great rest of the week. I will have maybe one more video coming up later this week, and then we will continue next week. Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, push thumbs up, comment on the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.